the question I have for y'all is, where does homosexuality come from? What is the root of that? There's two schools of argument that you hear. Some say it's genetic and biological, just born that way. Others say it's environmental, where basically it's a learned behavior. Okay, so what do you guys think? Is it either of those, or so you got another idea to add into that?
I've got a pretty firm response.
I think pretty much all behaviors are influenced by a combination of both genetics and the environment. That's basically where, you learn in psychology, like that's where they both jointly influence behavior. So. Cool.
All right. And do you similar answer, or what do you think?
Yes, sir. I was going to agree with Megan that personally I believe it's a combination of learned behavior and genetics, because I'm Christian, don't get me wrong, but I don't consider homosexuality a sin, because I think there's also a fundamental biological reason to explain these behaviors.
Attracted to the same sex, it has to be genetics, because you can't make somebody like another sex just because that's the way things is. Like, it has to be in them or part of them.
I believe that people are like biologically predisposed to like a sex that they're going to be attracted to.
On the surface level, there is an elementary argument from someone, and this could be someone with really no strong religious backgrounds from either the Jewish, Islamic, or Christian faith, which all three put it in a sin behavior. Mm-hmm. This is someone that just on the surface level says, gosh, man is created for woman, they fit together, they procreate, it's just not natural. So on the surface level, what do you say to someone who just is coming at it with just a very elementary argument like, wow, it's just not how we're designed to go?
Do you want to?
If you have something.
I'll agree with that statement. I mean, naturally, no, that's not what's supposed to happen, but what I'm convinced of, that there's some kind of disorder with that specific population. It doesn't make them bad people. It's just like me having ADHD. It's just a disability that I have. It's not even a disability. I don't mean it like that. It's just I'm convinced there's a brain disorder that causes them to behave that way. So yes, it's not natural, but does it make any sense?
I would say this. I'm going to make a statement, actually. I would say this. I think within inside mankind is the tendency for all sorts of behavior, which is to say, I believe inside myself I have the tendency to be a homosexual, to be a rapist, to be a murderer, to be a bank robber, to be an identity theft guy, to be a corporate greed guy. I believe inside me is the nature to really do all of that stuff. But it's not based necessarily on behavior or chemical or genetics. It's based on my sin nature, on my desire to do that which is against a holy God who created us as moral beings. And I believe God is restraining widespread evil in the world. It's part of his grace. It's part of his restraints that he does, almost like putting hands, keeping a bunch of newly born chickens from running off a table. And these hands are keeping the chickens from, these little chicks from running off the table. I believe God is keeping restraints in. And I believe that God has the control to lift those restraints. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because and especially the part that we're all born with the tendencies to do evil, you know?
Yeah.
But where I'm coming from as somebody who's not religious is I'm coming from the standpoint where people learn right from wrong through like socialization,